And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at the fourth iteration of Disney's Villainous. Now, Disney Villainous, the first one came out with six villains in it, and then they had 3 expansions, each which added 3 more villains, and this is the third one called Perfectly Wretched. Now, there's a couple things about this one. First of all, when Villainous first came out, they said, "What villain do you want next?" And immediately I was like, Cruella de Vil! And finally, she's here. Each of these sets has one big villain, and this one is Cruella de Vil. It also has 2 villains that I was not expecting. Well, I guess Mother Gothel, of course, from Rapunzel. She's the second-tier villain. And then Pete from the cartoon Steamboat Willie. That one really threw me, and that's kind of neat because he's in a black and white cartoon. So we'll get to that in a second. But the very first movie I ever saw in the theaters was the cartoon version of 101 Dalmatians. I was very, very young at the time, and I was really afraid of Cruella de Vil. And then as time went by, I saw it. I guess I wasn't afraid of her, but she always seemed this menacing air behind her. Oh, she's trying to catch the puppies. I like puppies, and I don't know what it is. She's always been one of my favorite villains, so I'm glad to see her here. Now, this review, I'm not explaining how to play Villainous. On the Dice Tower channel, you can already see a review of Villainous itself, and if you want to know how the game plays, that's there. This you can play straight from the box. It's 3-player only, but you can also mix it with the other Villainous games, and so I'm looking at this from an expansion standpoint. So this is for people who already know how to play Villainous, and this is how this works. If you've never played Villainous before, it's fantastic. You can start with this set. That's not a problem at all. You'll enjoy it. But here's a little bit about each of the 3 villains in this set. We'll start with Pete. Pete here, again, this is really cool to me that this whole thing is in black and white. Even his book here, everything's in black and white. That's kind of cool. And Pete has these 5 objective tiles, and at the beginning of the game, you're going to be randomly placing one face down on each one. And if you're to win the game, you need to accomplish the different goals that you have here. And so the different goals are, for example, start your turn with allies of 10 or more strength at this location. Start your turn with at least 3 items at this location. And then a few other ones. This one's really interesting to me because in this one you need to spend at least 6 powers in one turn while Pete's at this location. Well, that's easy to do maybe if it's at Podunk Landing where you can play 2 cards. A little trickier when you can only play 1 card. But there are ways around that with Pete's card. And so Pete has different allies, the cricket and the parrot and the horse and then the bandit. So the bandit's one way to accomplish that one because you can play as many bandits as you want as the same play a card action. So maybe I could play 3 of them if I have them. But Pete also has items which you can play at locations which will add an icon to those locations. Steamboat Willie itself. The stolen cargo and bank loot. This adds locations. He also has play a game, several of these in a deck. In fact, this has one of the things is to win with play a game. I believe it is here, win big. This one you need to do play a game and you reveal the top 2 cards and you'll gain power equal to the sum of their costs and you discard them. And that's because most of the cards in Pete's deck are pretty expensive to play. You'll see here in the top there's some high cost cards in his deck. Now for the good guys, we have all the classic Disney characters, Horse Collar, Clarabelle Cow, Pluto, Goofy, the original Donald Duck, Minnie Mouse, and of course Mickey Mouse, who stops Pete from completing goals. Fortunately, Pete has a card that just lets him go to a location and whoop up on any of the allies. So there's all kinds of cards here. This one's a fairly straightforward one to play. The only tricky thing is a few of these, like to spend 6 powers, is more tricky. Start your turn with 3 items at a location. That one makes a little more sense. You just play 3 items to a location. Gain 4 power from playing a game at this location. That's very specific. So of the 3 in this set, I think he might be the easiest one to play. For Mother Gothel, you're going to start the game with Rapunzel in play, a cardboard token here, and she starts in Rapunzel's tower. Now, over the course of this game, for Mother Gothel to win, you need to start your turn with 10 trust. Trust is essentially power. Whenever you get power, you just put it here, and that's how much trust you have. You have to use specific cards. You can't just move power to trust, but it's the same token used for both. Now, at the end of every turn, Rapunzel moves one direction towards Corona. She wants to see the Festival of Lights. If she's already there, then Mother Gothel loses one trust every round. So if she's ever defeated, and she's a 4 strength, then she goes back to the tower. So Mother Gothel's trying to get this 10 trust, but also get Rapunzel to get back to the tower. So she has cards like this one here, where Mother Knows Best, where you'll sing the song, and then you don't move Rapunzel this turn. If he is played to her location, he can force her to go back, move her to Rapunzel's tower at the cost of losing a trust. And then there's other characters in the game who can move heroes, and of course you're often going to do that to Rapunzel to get her back to the tower. Then there are lots of cards in the deck that will help you with trust. So if you play Hairbrush to Rapunzel's location, gain a trust. Move her one location towards Corona, gain a trust. So you let her go, but you get a trust. Here, if they move an ally or item, you can play this, move Rapunzel to the tower. Here, then, she's at the tower, get a trust. Or move her towards the tower. If they're in the same location, get a trust. If they're at the tower, get an extra trust. If you kill someone with a knife, attack someone with a knife, you get a trust. And if you defeat a hero other than Rapunzel, gain a trust. So those are what you're trying to do. Of course, then you have the good guys, the heroes trying to stop you. Flynn Rider, of course, here. However, if he's defeated, Mother Gothel gains a trust. So if you're going to play him on Mother Gothel, you better hope he doesn't get defeated. Shorty can move Mother Gothel. The floating lights lets her go straight to Corona. Here, she'll move towards Corona. Here, if they're at the same location as Rapunzel, Mother Gothel loses a trust. Then there's just cards that make Mother Gothel lose a trust. So when I first saw this one, I thought it was a little complicated because you're just constantly moving her, and then you got to move her back, and I thought all that moving around. But it's not as complex as you might think because it's pretty straightforward. Get her back to the tower and get trust. Now, because she starts with a hero out on the board, she has fewer icons, but you'll notice two of her spaces here have 3 icons at the bottom. So it's not as problematic for her to have Rapunzel or other heroes show up. So this is a pretty cool one. I like the aspect of her, and also I like her in this movie. Cruella de Vil, with one of the coolest pieces in the game, half white, half black. Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil. If she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. Her goal is to capture 99 puppies. You have a bunch of tokens here. These tokens are going to be 11 or 22, and you are going to be revealing these puppies, and every once in a while you'll be placing them at different locations. It will show you on them where to place them. And so what she's going to be trying to do is trying to reveal these puppies and get them on the board and then capture the puppies. Now this is a little trickier than you might think. And so she has a lot of different cards. She has one, for example, that says, capture 1 puppy token from Cruella de Vil's location. So she'll go and just grab it themselves. But for the most part, you have to use different cards to reveal, like the flashlight one here, which when you place it, you'll be able to activate it to choose a puppy token and add it to its location. But then she has cards that let you activate other cards, like the flashlight. And many of her cards are going to let her move allies around. And this is important because she has only 2. She's the only person I know of in the game who has only 2 allies, Horace and Jasper. And both of them will let you capture, he captures 1 and he captures 2 puppies. And you want to capture puppies because that's how you win the game. Having them out here on the board is good because there's cards that let you get power, but you need to capture them. But she also has cards that let you pull these allies out of the deck. There's also this card, which is just really scary, the Devilish card. And you can defeat heroes in front of you. And so again, she's fairly straightforward, going around trying to capture puppies, but mostly sending her henchmen to do it. But then the good guys, the heroes, are so many ones. Get rid of tokens from one location, put them back in the supply. There's even some where you can put back captured puppy tokens. The colonels and the different heroes here, keep puppies from being captured. And so she's going to have to use her item, the car, to get people around. So there's a few ways. I mean, she can seem like she's winning really quickly by capturing some puppy locations, but there's a lot of heroes that will bring some of those captured ones back. So again, this one's played very straightforward. Capture the puppy tokens, get them on the board, and then capture them, move them away from heroes, possibly using your car to get around, and then get these guys on the board. And if they go away, use cards to bring them back, because move an ally to your location or pick someone from the deck or discard pile and put them in your hand. So that's how she plays. As with all the Disney Villainous, the instructions are really clear. They tell you how to play the game if you've never played it before. I like the tokens in this one, although I thought it was funny that they actually have a character who's in a black and white one. We got Pete, and then you put a character that's black and white Cruella de Vil in the same one. Not that you're going to get them mixed up. I like both of their tokens. I think Mother Gothard. Okay, fine. I know it has significance in the movie, but whatever. But the cards are cool. Again, always still a big fan of taking a look at the back of these cards and the design, and of course the artwork in these, as is in all the Villainous games, expansions and stuff. It's phenomenal, and it's easy to keep all three right here. And there's a lot of tokens and stuff in this game, but just works really well. Great components. Now, one of the things I was a little concerned about was, if you think about it, 101 Dalmatians is pretty grim. At the end of the day, she wants to turn these into a fur coat, killing the puppies. But in this game, you are simply just capturing the puppies, and that's the end of the day. All right. I like it, though. I think this one's good. Some of the villains in this game and Villainous can be a little more complex than the rest. These all seem complex, but they're pretty straightforward, I think. Capture puppies, get Rapunzel's trust, and just accomplish your goals. Of the three, my favorite to play, mechanics-wise, is actually Pete. Because I don't know what it is. I like the different goals and trying to accomplish them and work around towards that. It feels like you have different things that you're doing, and that's a lot of fun. Now, theming-wise, Cruella de Vil, of course. But this is just a solid expansion. I just really like this. I like Villainous a lot. I think this is going to introduce a lot of people to gaming in general, especially if you're a big fan of Disney. I'm pretty happy now. They've done all my favorite villains from all the different Disney cartoons, and this brings it up to a total of 15 different villains that you can pick from at this point in time, which is a lot of fun. So definitely, whether it's your first time or you've already had Villainous, you'll definitely want to check out this expansion. Perfectly Wretched. Dice Tower Judgment approved.